There is a silent machinery grinding behind your reality, and its primary target is your soul. You feel the weight, but can't see the chains. I'm about to reveal the brutal truth they prayed you'd never find. Watch until the end, or stay a victim forever. You are being hunted. Right now, in this very moment, as you breathe and listen to my voice, there is a silent, invisible machinery grinding behind the curtain of your reality, and its primary target is your potential. Most people spend their entire lives feeling a vague, suffocating weight in their chest, a sense that something is fundamentally wrong, yet they can never quite put their finger on the trigger. They work until their bones ache. They pray for the weekend like it's a life raft in a storm, and they watch their bank accounts drain away as if there's a hole in the bottom of the world. If you have ever felt that sickening knot in your stomach while looking at a bill you can't pay, or felt the quiet rage of watching others fly while you are shackled to the ground, I need you to understand something terrifying. It is not your fault, but it is your problem. Welcome to Glaze English. We are here to strip away the illusions and face the brutal reality that society has worked so hard to hide from you. Before we go any further, before we tear down the walls of the old you, hit that subscribe button right now. Join this uprising of the awake, because your support is the only fuel that allows us to keep bringing these dangerous truths to the light. The system is not broken. It is a predatory architecture functioning exactly as it was intended. It was never designed to make you wealthy, sovereign, or free. It was engineered to keep you just comfortable enough to not rebel, but just desperate enough to keep showing up to a job that erases your soul. They want you distracted by the noise, insecure enough to buy status, and exhausted enough to never ask the real questions. You have been lied to by the very institutions that claimed to protect you. Your school taught you how to follow instructions, not how to build empires. Your parents taught you to be safe because they were terrified themselves. But today, that deception ends. This is the video I wish someone had forced me to watch when I was broken, angry, and drowning in the why. Today, we stop being the customer and we start being the architect. We are declaring war. A war between the version of you that accepts the crumbs of the system and the version of you that finally understands the game. This isn't about fake hustle or hollow dreams. This is about 12 brutally honest, emotionally raw rules that will act as a hammer to your chains. If you are ready to stop being a victim and start playing like a master, stay until the final second of this video. The exit is right here. Now, let us begin. To cross the threshold from a victim of the economy to its master, you must first dismantle the very foundation of how you perceive value. You see, most people view money as a trophy to be displayed, a finite prize that proves they have finally arrived. But this is the first and most fatal lie. Money is not the goal. It is a tool, and until you understand that distinction, you will forever be its slave. Think of money as a weapon, a shield, or a key. It is a neutral energy that has no meaning until you convert it into the only currency that truly matters: your freedom. The tragedy of the modern world is filled with men who have millions in the bank, but cannot spend a single afternoon with their children without checking their phones. Men who have bought the biggest houses, but live in a state of constant, vibrating anxiety because they are chasing a number that has no end. When you chase the goal of more, you are running on a treadmill that eventually breaks your heart. Real wealth is the ability to say no to things you hate, to buy back the minutes of your life that you previously sold for a paycheck, and to protect the people you love from the storms of the world. It is not about the car. It is about the peace of mind that comes when you realize that the money serves you, not the other way around. But here is the hard truth that keeps people paralyzed in mediocrity. You do not need to be rich to start learning the language of wealth. In fact, the most dangerous poison you can swallow is the belief that you'll start managing your finances once you finally earn a real salary. That is a coward's excuse. Money does not care about your intentions. It only responds to your discipline. If you cannot manage $100 with surgical precision, you will be a catastrophe with 100,000. The best time to become a student of money is when your pockets are empty and your stomach is growling, because that is when you are humble enough to pay attention to the details. When you have nothing, every dollar is a lesson in choice, a microcosm of the life you are building. You learn the mechanics of interest, the weight of a dollar's potential, and the ruthless math of survival. If you wait until you are comfortable to learn, you will never get comfortable. Wealth isn't a destination you reach and then decide how to act. It is a character trait you develop while you are still in the trenches. The world around you is addicted to the performance of success, a digital masquerade where everyone is desperate to look like they've made it, while they are secretly drowning in the dark. This is the trap of the loud poor, those who spend their real money on fake status. They lease the German sedan, they swipe the credit card for the designer belt, and they post the vacation photos while their net worth is a screaming red zero. They are paying a high-interest tax to impress people who don't even like them. They are emotionally exhausted, living on the edge of a blade, one missed paycheck away from total humiliation. You must choose a different path, the path of the quiet rich. The quiet rich understand that true power doesn't need to scream. They drive the old truck, they wear the plain shirt, and they live in the modest house, but they own their time. They have liquid cash, they have growing assets, and they have the quiet confidence of a predator who doesn't need to roar to be feared. Looking rich is a prison. Being rich is a fortress. Finally, you must understand that real wealth is built in the shadows, far away from the prying eyes and the hollow applause of the crowd. We live in an age of oversharing, where people feel the need to broadcast every minor victory. But noise is the ultimate killer of wealth. Every time you announce your plans, you bleed out the psychological energy required to actually achieve them. You get a cheap hit of dopamine from the likes and the congratulations, and your brain mistakenly thinks the job is already done. The masters move in silence. They build their empires in the late hours of the night and the cold mornings of the spirit, away from the distractions of the ego. They don't need the world to know they are winning. They only need the results to be real. Money grows best in quiet rooms, through secret moves and private discipline. When you stop trying to prove your worth to a world that doesn't care, you free up the mental space to actually become worthy. Build your future in the dark, sharpen your tools in the silence, and let the sheer weight of your eventual success be the only noise you ever need to make. Once you have mastered the internal discipline of silence and dismantled the facade of status, you must begin to understand the cold, unyielding physics of wealth, the mechanical laws that dictate who rises and who remains buried in the dirt of financial mediocrity. It starts with a force so powerful that Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. The terrifying, beautiful momentum of time. Most people are obsessed with the how much they earn, how much they can spend, how much they can flaunt, but they ignore the how long, which is the only variable that truly creates empires. Wealth is not a sprint of effort, it is a marathon of patience. To illustrate this mathematical brutality, look at two friends, Alex and Ben. Alex, a student of the game, starts investing a mere $100 a month at the age of 20. He is consistent, disciplined, and relentless for exactly 10 years. And then, at age 30, he stops entirely. He never adds another cent for the rest of his life. Ben, on the other hand, waits until he is 30 to find his footing. He realizes he is behind, so he invests that same $100 every single month for 30 years straight, until he is 60. Even though Ben invested 3 times as much money as Alex, and even though he worked for 3 times as long, Alex ends up with a significantly larger fortune. This is the raw magic of compound growth. It is a snowball rolling down a mountain of years where your money earns interest, then that interest earns interest, and soon the momentum becomes an avalanche that no job could ever replicate. Every single day you delay, every year you spend waiting for a better time, you are not just missing out on profit, you are effectively setting fire to the most valuable currency you will ever own: your youth. You can always earn another dollar, but you can never, ever buy back a Tuesday. This momentum, however, is useless if you do not possess the tactical control to direct it, which brings us to the command center of your financial life, the absolute necessity of telling your money exactly where to go before you have to wonder where it went. Most people live in a state of financial fog, a hazy existence where they swipe cards and pray that the insufficient funds light doesn't blink red at the grocery store. That is not living. That is surviving as a prisoner of your own impulses. You must view every single dollar you earn as a soldier in an army. You are the general. A general who sends his soldiers into the woods without a map, a mission, or a formation is a general who is asking for a slaughter. Budgeting is not a cage designed to keep you from having fun. It is a tactical map designed to ensure your victory. When you track every cent, you are taking the remote control of your life back from the hands of fate. You are looking at $100 and saying, you are for food, you are for growth, and you are for the emergency fund that will protect my family when the world goes mad. Money loves order, and it flees from chaos. The moment you bring clarity to your ledger is the moment you stop being a victim of your bank statement and start being its master. As you begin to command your soldiers, you will face the most seductive enemy in the financial theater, the invisible poison of lifestyle creep. This is the trap that keeps even the highest earners living paycheck to paycheck. You work hard, you get the promotion, and suddenly you feel you deserve the luxury apartment, the faster car, and the expensive dinners. You have increased your income, but you have also increased your ego, keeping the gap between what you earn and what you spend as narrow as a razor's edge. Wealth is not the car you drive or the clothes you wear. Wealth is the gap. It is the silence between your earnings and your expenses. If you earn $10,000 a month and spend $10,000, you are functionally broke. You are just a high-class servant to your bills. But if you earn $3,000 and spend $2,000, you are on the path to sovereignty. Your goal is to keep your life small while your vision grows large. You must learn to live below your means today so that you can live beyond your wildest dreams tomorrow. Do not upgrade your life until your assets are strong enough to carry the weight of that upgrade for you. The final gear in this machine is the transition from a laborer to an owner. The realization that if you are only trading your hours for dollars, you have a ceiling that you will eventually hit. Your body will tire, your mind will slow, and the market will eventually find someone younger and cheaper to replace you. You cannot achieve true freedom until you build an asset factory, a system where your money goes out into the world, works shifts you won't work, and returns to you with more money in its pockets. This is the world of passive income, the only true form of magic in the modern age. Whether it is through dividends, real estate, or a business that functions without your physical presence, your mission is to create a reality where your income is decoupled from your time. Every dollar you invest is a brick in a fortress that will eventually house you, feed you, and protect you while you sleep. The shift from working for money to having money work for you is the moment you graduate from the ranks of the struggling and enter the halls of the free. You are no longer a machine. You are the owner of the machine. Build it brick by brick, soldier by soldier, until the noise of your struggle is replaced by the quiet hum of an empire that grows even while you rest. As the hum of your wealth-building machine begins to take shape, you must realize that even the strongest engine can be stalled by the rust of ignorance or the friction of bad leverage. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of shifting sand. And in the world of finance, that sand is often the weight of debt that you've been told is normal. Most people carry debt like a silent parasite, a contract they've signed to work for the banks for free, just to pay for a past they've already forgotten. Every time you swipe a card for a designer bag, a meal you can't afford, or a car that loses value the moment you turn the key, you are selling your future peace for a fleeting hit of dopamine. This is bad debt, the kind that takes money out of your pocket and replaces it with sleepless nights. But the masters of the game understand a different path. They use good debt as a ladder, borrowing not to consume, but to acquire assets that pay the interest and then some. One makes you a servant, the other makes you a strategist. If you are currently buried, your first mission is to stop digging. Kill the parasite with a relentless focus, cutting every unnecessary expense until you can breathe again. Because a man in debt is a man with a leash, and you were born to run free. Once you've cleared the debris of bad debt, you must face the structural danger of standing on a single leg during a financial earthquake. Relying on one source of income, usually a single paycheck from a single employer, is nothing short of financial suicide. We've been conditioned to think a steady job is security, but that is the greatest illusion of the modern age. True security is anti-fragility. It is the ability to lose one source of income and not have your life collapse. Think of your income like a table. A one-legged table is a disaster waiting to happen, but a four-legged table is unshakable. You must begin to build your second, third, and fourth pillars today. Whether it's a freelance skill you sell on the side, a small digital product that earns while you sleep, or dividend-paying stocks, you must diversify your survival. You don't need to be an expert in 5 industries, but you do need to be a builder in more than one, ensuring that when one stream dries up, the others keep your garden blooming. However, you cannot build these pillars if you remain illiterate in the very language that governs your existence. It is a profound irony that we spend 15 years in formal education learning how to be a good employee, but not 15 minutes learning how money actually works. We study history, biology, and the laws of physics, yet we remain blind to the laws of finance. This ignorance is the primary tool the system uses to keep you in place. You must resolve today to become an eternal student of wealth. Money is not a mystery or a matter of luck. It is a science with rules and patterns that can be mastered by anyone with the discipline to read. The instinctual spender reacts to the world with emotion and ends up broke, while the money student observes the market, understands the tax codes, and recognizes the traps of inflation before they snap shut. Give 30 minutes of your day to this study. Read the books the system didn't want you to find. Track your bank statements until the numbers tell you a story. And never stop asking why the rich get richer while the rest stay still. The more you know, the less you fear. And in a world driven by panic, the man with knowledge is the only one who is truly free. Even if you master every technical law of the market and build a fortress of multiple income streams, there is one final, silent gatekeeper that can still bar you from the life you deserve, the invisible architecture of your own subconscious mind. We are all walking around with financial scripts written by people who were just as lost as we were, carrying inherited fears and whispered lies that money is the root of all evil, or that people like us aren't meant to be wealthy. If you do not dig up these roots, you will subconsciously sabotage every win you achieve, bleeding out your progress because your identity cannot handle your success. Money is not a moral judge. It is a magnifier of who you already are. If you are a person of character, wealth allows you to be a saint on a global scale. If you are hollow, it only reveals your emptiness. You must stop saying, "I can't afford it," which is the language of a victim, and start asking, "How can I afford it?" which is the language of an architect. This one shift in your internal dialogue moves you from a state of paralysis to a state of strategic power, forcing your brain to find solutions where it once only saw walls. You have reached the end of this journey, and if you are still here, it is because something within you has finally shifted from a flicker into a flame. You have seen the truth of the system. You have learned the mechanics of time, and you have faced the mirror of your own discipline. Most people will watch this and go back to their comfortable cages. But you are no longer most people. You are the one who breaks the cycle. You are the one who ensures that the struggle ends with your generation, so that the next can start from a position of strength. Wealth is not a matter of luck. It is a matter of causality. And by choosing to stay, to learn, and to change, you have already set the wheels of your new destiny in motion. This is the moment you stop existing and start leading. This is the moment you reclaim your time, your peace, and your legacy. The world is waiting for the version of you that is no longer afraid, the version of you that understands that being broke in mindset is the only true poverty. Now, go out into the quiet of the world and build the life that others only dream of. The war is over, and the empire is yours to create. Stay awake, stay relentless, and remember that here at Glaze English, we are building a revolution of the free. Your future self is waiting. Don't keep them waiting any longer. As we stand at the precipice of this new understanding, take a moment to absorb the weight of the transformation you have just undergone. This journey through the 12 rules of financial sovereignty was never merely about numbers on a ledger or coins in a jar. It was an excavation of your soul and a dismantling of the mental prison walls that have kept you small for far too long. You have traveled from the realization that the system is engineered for your failure to the empowering truth that you are the sole architect of your own freedom. We have stripped away the vanity of looking rich and replaced it with the quiet, unshakable power of actually being rich. You have learned that time is a predator if ignored, but the ultimate ally if harnessed early, and that your income is not a ceiling, but a foundation upon which to build multiple pillars of stability. Everything we have discussed, from the tactical discipline of budgeting to the psychological warfare of rewriting your subconscious beliefs, serves one singular purpose: to move you from a state of survival to a state of sovereignty. A sovereign individual is not someone who never faces a storm, but someone who owns the ship, knows the stars, and has built a hull strong enough to withstand any economic hurricane. You are no longer the person who wonders where the money went. You are the commander who tells it where to go. You are no longer the one who trades every waking hour for a paycheck. You are the owner of assets that work while you sleep. The 12 rules are now your compass, but a compass is useless if you refuse to walk the path. The true test begins the moment this screen goes dark. It begins when you face the temptation of an impulsive purchase, when you choose to read a book on finance instead of scrolling through mindless noise, and when you have the courage to move in silence while the world screams for attention. You are now armed with the dangerous truth. And with that truth comes the absolute responsibility to never be a victim again. Your legacy is no longer a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. The most profound lesson you can take from this is that wealth is not something you get, but something you become. Your bank account is simply a lagging indicator of your habits, your discipline, and your character. To change the harvest, you must change the seeds you plant in your mind every single day. The best way to apply this immediately is to pick just one of the rules. Perhaps it's tracking your expenses or starting your first micro-investment, and execute it with obsessive consistency starting today. Don't wait for a perfect moment that will never come. Start where you stand with what you have. I want to hear from you because your perspective helps this community grow stronger. Which one of these 12 rules resonated with you the most? Or which one do you find the most challenging to implement in your current life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below so we can all learn from each other's journeys. And if this message struck a chord in your heart, subscribe to Glaze English and join our movement. Your support gives us the strength to keep creating these deep, life-changing lessons for everyone ready to wake up. Your journey to freedom has just begun.